Hey guys, it's Targon here doing a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to complete this final boss in the Doom Tower rotation for Frost Spider, which is, of course, the Frost Spider. So I'm going to show you how to beat this boss on hard without using a ton of legendary champions, okay? Now, this boss is going to be one of your tougher battles, especially if you're lacking certain elements on your account. There's a number of different things. I actually had to, when Doom Tower was first coming out and I was trying to beat this boss, I actually had to build one specific champion because they were the only champion that had HP burn in my roster at the time. Because HP burn is critical in this for this boss. It's not necessary, but it helps a lot. Um, Fortunately, now there's plenty of other champions that do the HP burn. But let's go ahead and look at her stats. Okay, so when you come in to fight the Frost Spider, she's going to open up with Absolute Zero. This is a really nasty skill because, number one, it removes all your buffs. Then it attacks you. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but it'll take you out over time. And then it has a 100% chance of placing a freeze for one turn on everybody. If she's under an HP burn, the chance for that goes down substantially. So if you can get HP burn on her early on, that's going to help you out a ton. Because then fills her turn meter by 20% for each freeze. So you've got 5 people, right? So 20 times 5 for the math wizards out there, I believe that's 100%. She gets an extra turn if nobody resists and it's not blocked. But the problem is that in order for it to be blocked, you also have to resist the buff strip. So really going to be very helpful if you can build at least one champion, ideally more, with high resistance, just to deal with that skill. So if she gets this off on everybody and then does her catabolic winds, it's going to attack everybody again, places block buffs, and 100% heal reduction for 2 turns on enemies who are under freeze. So that right there is super nasty. Places a 30% decreased speed debuff and a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns on enemies that have no freeze buffs. So either way, you're getting 2 debuffs. Honestly, I'd much rather take this one. This one's not fun either, but the block buffs and heal reduction, not good. Not good at all. So if you don't have someone who's resisting those or blocking those, she's taking 2 turns. It's nasty. And then her A1 attacks everybody and places decreased accuracy for 2 turns, which is actually really key. So because she's got some really nasty passives here. So this one, when attacked, has a 20% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. Increases her defense and resist if she's not under an HP burn. And let me tell you guys, she's got a lot of resistance. Once you get to Doom Tower Hard, even on the normal level, like normal, you're going to need like your Nightmare Clan Boss level, I think, like 200 accuracy for this. I think I'm getting resisted with like 300 accuracy, and this is just floor 40. So you're going to need a lot of accuracy, especially on your HP burn champion. Once you get that HP burn on, then the rest of your debuffs are going to land a lot easier because of this passive. And she's going to take a lot more damage. All right, and then her last passive here is Purged by Flame, revives her at 50% HP, a full turn meter, and all her skill cooldowns reset if she is killed while not under an HP burn debuff, and it spawns her 2 spiderlings, which we'll get into in just a second. She brings 2 spiderlings in with her. So if you kill her and she doesn't have an HP burn debuff on her, she's coming right back. All right, albeit it's 50% health, but you got to start all over. I think the first few goes I had on her, again, when it was first coming out, it took me, I think I spent like almost an hour on the boss battle, and that was on normal. Obviously, I was relatively new. I only had a handful of champions at level 60, and I had to go and level up Juliana specifically because she was the only champion in my vault that had HP burn at the time. So HP burn's critical. You can block the revive, and so the good news there is you can go in with your trusty Arminger to block the revive. However, without the HP burn active, she's taking a lot less damage and she's resisting your debuffs that much more. And the other challenging thing is, so if you have to time it right, if he does his late arrest skill and doesn't quite finish her off, then somebody else is, and then you got to deal with her all over again. All right, so that's kind of the challenge with going just with this strategy. But if you're early on and you don't have an HP burner, build Arminger. Arminger is great for this boss. He's great for he's great for a number of areas in the game. He's great for I keep thinking Dreadhorn, the Scarab King. Scarab King, as I did the video on before. Arminger is my go-to even on my main account for that one. And he's a go-to on my main account for this as well, honestly, because I like having options. So I have the HP burn and the block revive going. All right, so he is really, really great for this. Other things that you're going to want to bring to your fight, I am going to bring in Syl of the Drakes. She's great for crowd control. Now, she's going to help out a lot on the Spiderlings, and I'll explain those when we start. You want to try and crowd control the Spiderlings as much as possible. So Syl is great for that. Also, this boss is susceptible to drop turn meter, and I believe the decreased speed as well. So that's going to help you out substantially if you're able to do that. And obviously her healing is great. Now, if you're not resisting the debuffs, you can still bring a block debuffs champion like Sepulchre Sentinel. I'll typically use Duchess instead just because I have her built for it. But if you're putting the block debuffs on everybody before the boss takes her first turn, you're still getting your buffs stripped off, so it's not going to be super helpful. So having Doom Priest is going to be really good too because there's a lot of debuffs flying around. One of the Spiderlings is throwing debuffs in. So I'm going to bring in my Doom Priest, and I've got her running in Relentless set. I've actually, because of my clan boss composition, I'm using her right now, so I'm swapping her boots every time. Every time I use her for this. But so we'll bring in a Doom Priest, or if you have other cleansing options, you could build a cleanser with high resistance. That could be really helpful for you. Like some options could be Ugo would be great because she removes that heal reduction that's going on people. You got Mausoleum Mage. There's plenty of other cleansers, so you could build them with high resist and try to time it so that after the boss freezes everybody, you have that one person who resists and then is able to clean everything off. So I'm going to bring in Doom Priest. I'm going to bring in Arminger. I'm going to bring in Stag Knight. Stag Knight for the drop defense and the drop attack, and as well as the decreased speed on the A1. And I got him at, I got him at 250. So this gets resisted a fair amount of the time actually on hard. And then we got Syl, and then I'm going to use Ninja. Honestly, Geomancer probably would be better for this in a lot of ways, but I don't have him on this account, so I'm going to go with Ninja. And Ninja is also good because he brings a little crowd control on the Spiderlings as well with his freeze. So if you're manualing, don't target the boss with this while the Spiderlings are out. Target the Spiderlings because you don't want them getting a turn, and I will explain why once we get in there. All right? So I'm using this comp because this is going to be a lot more achievable for people. Again, if you don't have Ninja, swap him out for Geomancer or some other HP burn champion. Mordecai would be a cool option as well. So the rest of these, Doom Priest, Stag Knight. If you don't have Stag Knight, maybe find somebody else that does decrease attack, decrease defense. Tyrell. There's a handful of others. If you don't have Doom Priest, look for another cleanser. Arminger, super easy to get. You can buy him at the market. Syl, login champion. All right, so those are all pretty reasonable options that you guys should be able to get. Now this team is not necessarily going to be 100%. I don't think it. I was able to beat it with this, but now I've got this little circle of doom going. But so this boss, it can be a little bit tricky with some of the RNG, especially with Doom Priest getting her extra turns. You know, the waves here really are not anything too nasty. I maybe should have saved that freeze. Sometimes you want to just try and go through with more of your A1s for this, because really these guys don't do a whole heck of a lot. I'm going to save my HP burn because I want to try and get that out on the boss as soon as possible. And so just, I would encourage you, if you're manualing this, if you don't have a team that can do this on full auto, manual through that, try and have as much of your cooldowns available as possible. And so there you see the decreased turn meter. Very, very helpful. See if we can get it again. No, he resisted. And so there again, actually I'm not sure, that maybe just didn't go. So there you saw, took one turn. Now I think Doom Priest maybe resisted, but still got the extra turn. All right, so here's the thing with the Spiderlings, okay? This one on the right cleanses the boss. This one on the left throws decreased defense on you. So really not cool. Probably most important thing is take this one out on the right. So you are going to want to try and target this one for the most part. Now with Arminger's A1, I'm going to try and drop. Man, I might just have to go and forget using him, because now everybody's got decreased accuracy, darn. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that on. And again, I don't think any of them went onto the boss. So that's where the decreased accuracy is really nasty, because this boss already has crazy resistance. And there you saw the resist there. Let's see, can Syl land it? No. Actually got... I'm just going to target the Spiderling. And so probably it would really be good for me to... actually, should have used his nuke there. Probably would be good for me to rebuild Arminger a little bit, specifically for this. If you're struggling, I have him in the Destroy set just so that way he's able to take on the Scarab boss. And the Scarab boss is also in this rotation, so it's not like you can just be like, oh, I'll build him one way for this rotation. You kind of need both. And I'm just going to try and nuke this guy down here. But once you get these Spiderlings, everything else is going to get a lot easier. Here comes the freeze. Got a good number of my guys there. And now she's going to take that other turn. So the advantage with having Syl and Doom Priest, though, is it lets me keep up with the damage okay. It's not great, you know, especially like with Arminger there, but let's see if I can get, there we go. We got the HP burn on, and now if I can get this Spiderling down, and you saw over 200,000 damage, she takes a lot of damage from the HP burn, and her resistance is now, I don't know if it's cut in half. Yeah, so we got that decreased speed on, and almost got this guy down. See, now I'm able to land some of this. Like Arminger wasn't landing that before. want to try and get Ninja's HP burn in. I don't think I'm going to get it now. Oh, he didn't even have the cooldown ready because he was frozen. All right. And so there, the 400k on Arminger's nuke, so you see kind of how Arminger can be really helpful here. Get that HP burn out. And so at this point, you know, I would say once this guy's down and you're able to get HP burn on the boss, just go ahead and target the boss for the most part. Unless your team is really squishy and you can't handle that drop defense being on you. And so now, you know, it's really just a matter of just letting this play out because the HP burn's should still be on her by the time she gets to no health. But if it wasn't, I would need to be really careful with Arminger and try and time it. Actually, with some people being frozen, let's see. Are we gonna get, I think, yeah, no, we'll be good. But so you'd want to try and time it where if this HP burn wasn't on there, I would be kind of in a predicament, but I think, no, see, didn't quite. So it's a good thing the HP burn is on there. Otherwise, this boss would be reviving and I would be out of luck. You know, if it's really close like that, it might be wise to kind of wait on using that nuke and try and actually stop doing as much damage as possible, just so that way you can cycle back through and do the block revive. And let's see, I don't know why. I must have connectivity issues, so give me 1 second to resolve that and I'll be back. All right, we're back. Yeah, so you could just see the breakdown. Ninja does so much damage with his HP burns. I mean, you saw those ticking away at the boss, so that's where having HP burns really good. Geomancer would be great as well because then every time the boss is attacking, he's reflecting damage back. Also, if he's able to land his decreased accuracy, that can help you be able to resist the debuffs a little bit better. All right. So hopefully this gives you some idea for how you can beat the boss. You know, another thing you can do is bring a block debuffs in, but really that's not going to matter as much if you're not able to resist the buff strip that happens. Obviously you can block some of the others, but the problem is the boss does that rapid cycle where if she hits you with the freeze, then she's also putting the block buffs on. So by the time that's off, a lot of times she's going right back and taking your buffs off again. So that's where you might just want to look at bringing in a lot of healing, especially passive healing like we had there, right? So that way, even if you're frozen, Sill's healing, Doom Priest is healing, and then you just bring your champions to do as much damage as possible with the HP burn and hopefully like a block revive as well. All right, so hope you found this video to be helpful. Let me know if you're having trouble and you're not quite sure like what your champions need. Let me just go over their stats real quick. Almost forgot that part because that is going to be important. All right, so Scylla the Drakes. So you notice she was landing her decreased turn meter a lot more, and that's because she's up over the 300 accuracy mark. Really, for this boss on hard, that's what you're going to aim for. I'm not quite sure on normal, but I think probably like if you're trying to beat the first boss, I don't think you even need to be at 200, but if you want to get all the way through normal, you want at least 200, I would say, probably more. And the accuracy requirement goes down once she gets the HP burn on her. So like if you're bringing in an HP burn champion, you could like get as much accuracy as you can on them. All right. So again, Ninja's at 350. Again, I have Ninja kind of built to be a little bit higher on the defense. Ideally, I want his health to be a little bit more, just that way he's able to take a little bit more damage. And ideally, I'd say have him run in Relentless. I'm using him in Clan Boss, so I have him speed tuned, so I can't use that. But having him in Relentless, that lets him cycle through things better. But ideally, you'd maybe just focus more on the accuracy for starters. Syl just built her fast, plenty of defense. I want to get more health into her though as well. That's kind of the next step for me, is building the champions with more health. Doom Priest, again, in Relentless gear. That lets her have the chance to get multiple goes, so she's, because there's a ton of debuffs coming in all the time, so that lets her get a chance to clear a few more of them off, and she does the passive heal. So again, really don't worry about damage with her. Just bring in HP and some basic defense. Stag Knight for this, probably I'm going to have to try and get his accuracy up a little bit. I might just swap him out of Lifesteal gear. That's not really necessary when you have enough healing going on. This is actually kind of an earlier build that I used for him. And then again, Arminger, for this you don't need the Destroy set, but for other content, the Destroy set is really good, like the Scarab King. So that's where, that's why I have him in a Destroy set. Good thing is he's a defense-based champion, so you can kind of build him a little bit better. If it wasn't for the set, I'd have his stats better. Ideally, you want probably closer to like 3K here at least, and upwards of 50K for the health. Accuracy could be a little bit better, but this was enough to get past floor 40. I'm not sure if this will be enough to get past some of the higher floors, because on this account I'm not quite clear in Doom Tower yet, but we'll see. So I'm going to make a go for it here. Crit rate on the gloves, just because of his nuke, you want to try and make sure that he's got crit rate maxed out. So yeah, I think that's it. Was there another champion that I used? No, Stag Knight, Doom Priest, Arminger. Yep, okay. So if you're having trouble, feel free to comment. We've got a great community here. People are helping each other out, even if I'm not always able to get to it. You'll probably be able to find some champions that you can throw together to create a team to beat this boss. All right. So please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you next time.